going to do one off of Rocks Again, just a killer song, Get the Lead Out. Song's tuned down a half step, so tune your 6th string down to E flat, your 5th string A flat, and so forth. So every string tuned down half step. Alright, so we got the intro. There's a verse and chorus and so forth. The third verse, they change things up. They're getting into the solo rhythm and do a couple things different. The solo rhythm's a bit different. We're going to go over that. We'll go over the lead. Perry's lead isn't too bad. I figured out it's actually in D Dorian. So we'll talk about that and get to... Alright, before we get into the lesson, I just want to say a shout out to everybody. Thank you for letting the ads run. The little bit has really helped, and I appreciate it very much. I didn't get into this to make money on it, but, you know, things change, and it's a nice little thing going, so I appreciate that. With that said, let's get into the lesson. I'll have my tab linked below. I wrote this out. You know, online, there's only a few videos of them doing this live. And it's kind of hard to see what Perry's doing because it's old footage. There is one online lesson which is pretty good, but doesn't go over the lead, and the actual rhythm of the solo is different. So anyhow, and the tab's terrible for this, yeah, for the most part. So anyhow, I wrote this up. Link is below the video, free download, no BS. So to start this song out with, we're on the 17th fret, just slide down the string, and then what you're going to do is hit the 5th string at the 2nd fret to 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Alright, then we're going to have a slight pause, it's just going to stop, and then we're going to go to a D power chord, so we'll be on the 4th string and 3rd string at 2nd. And then we're going to hit the 3rd fret of the 4th string with a slight bend, and then back to a D power chord. So it's really kind of almost a ragtime feeling. Alright, 2nd and 3rd time through get a little tricky, and I wrote this out with an open A. But that open A, take that tab as more of a passing note. It's definitely muted. So with that said, we have this passing open 5th string. We're going to go to the 2nd fret of the 5th string, pull off to open, to the 3rd fret, pulled off to open, and then just hit 4, 5. So that together with the opening lick, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, we're going to repeat that kind of the ghost note, that muted 5th string. And then we stop on A. This is in the intro. Or I'm sorry, D. We just stop there. So the 3rd time through, we stop on D. And then we're going to do this lick. Alright, so this lick, little thing that might help you play it. We're going to take the 5th string slot, hit the 3rd fret to the 2nd to open, and then hit the 6th string at 1. Then we're going to go to the 4th string, 3, 2 to open. Now when you hit the 3rd fret of the 6th string, use your middle finger because that puts you in position to play the rest of the riff. Okay? So if you're playing it like I started to, and I was like, I had to jump over to 5 because I was using my ring finger. So that lick will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last part of it is the 5th fret of the 4th string. to 4 and then 2. All right? And then we're going to hit an A power chord, which is taking us into the next measure. But let's take the lick from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the lick in the first measure of the intro. The second measure will sound like this. It's basically the chorus. So we're going to go through that next. Second measure of the intro, which again is basically the chorus, we're going to hit an A power chord, open 5th, 2nd fret of the 4th and 3rd. Then we're going to go to the 4th and 3rd string, hit that open once, and then open again and hammer into 2. And then you kind of stop. All right, so we have this. Then you'll have this lick. Alright, so that lick, we're going to hit the 4th fret of the 4th string once, then again with a bend, release, and pull off to 2. Then we're going to go to the 3rd fret of that 5th string with a bend and pull off to an A power chord, which starts it all over again. Alright, so you'll do that lick a total of 3 times. On the 4th time, when you hammer into the A chord from the open G, you're just going to stop again and then do a pull down on the 5th string at the 2nd fret. It's just slight, but it's taking us into the verse. Alright? So I'm going to play this whole second measure. I'm going to come in from the 5-4-2 lick, part of the lick in the earlier measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, we start the verse. We'll go over that next. Okay, so into the verse, the first verse, which is the same as the second, we're going to start out just like we did in the intro. No 17 slide, but we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, and then our D pulled down on our F note back to D. All right, and then our hammer-ons, or I'm sorry, pull-offs with the ghost note. Again, real slow. It's very subtle, that open 5th string. If you don't do it, not a big deal. It's fine. But anyhow, I got it in there. So all together, we'll do that 6 times. All right? After the first time without pull-offs, and then 5 more with the pull-offs in the ghost open. All right? After that total of 6 times, we're going to come into the lick. So we come into the lick, and that leads us into the chorus, which again is the second half of the intro. So we know all of that. Second verse is exactly the same. The only difference is we're going to do it a total of 4 times. 1, no pull-offs, and then 3 more times with the ghost note and pull-offs. After we hit the last D, we're going to go into the bridge. All right, we'll cover the bridge. Okay, for the bridge, the first time through, we're going to do it 4 times. First 2 times are exactly the same. Time through, they add a B note to a chord, and then the fourth time is just like the first two. So I'm going to show you what the first two would be. We're going to be doing a D form. All right. We're going to move it up to F and then come back to E, then D sharp to D. Again. So we're going to go from our F to our E, but we're going to take our pinky and put that on the 7th fret and add that B note. So we're following during the bridge when he's saying no, 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 no. We'll do that twice. The third time he goes up to that B note. So that's the melody that we're playing. Now, with that said, that's how I wrote it out when we... Okay, there'd be a drum fill after that fourth time. With that said, an easier way, if you have trouble stretching your pinky up to that 7th note of B, just lift your middle finger up and play that 2nd string open, that B note. All right, so it'll sound like this. Okay, that's just a little, whatever's easier for you. So that's, Brad is, or Joe is playing, I'm probably pretty sure Brad would be doing that version. Joe Perry would be doing this. I'm just going to use my first finger and go from an F to an E based on the 4th root. So I'm not going to be playing the 5th string. Alright, so I'm just going to use the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. Just down. One more time. The 2nd or 3rd time through, when we add that B note, just put your pinky down. You can even cover the 1st string too. That E note is fine because we're on the E chord. And then finishing it off. Alright, so that's what Perry's doing. We're into a chorus after that. So when the bridge, we do the 4 times through, you'll hear a drum fill, and then we're going to come back in with the chorus. All right, it'll just come back in with it. All right, and then we'll do that a total of, with the lick, 3 times. And then on the 4th time, we just stop on that A, and then do that B bend, all right, the 2nd fret of the 5th string. So now we're into the 4th, third verse, which is much different because it leads us into, part of it is the solo rhythm, and out. The 3rd verse leads us into the solo. We're doing a verse rhythm that they've changed. All right, we're going to do the very first lick the same. Everything on from here will be this. Changes there, but these next 3 parts of the verse rhythm, the 2nd of the 3, the solo will start. And I got that noted in my notes. But what we're doing, we're going to skip the 4th fret on the 5th string. So we're going to do our muted note to our 2 pull off, 3 pull off, and then hit 5 on the 5th string. All right. right to the 3rd fret, so we're referencing a G chord. So we have this. All right, just practice that. 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, we're just going to go into an F power chord, down twice, one more time, and then G power chord twice, and then once more, and then to a D. Now, I debated about this, but I wrote it out because listening to what Brad is playing for this rhythm, it's panned hard left, and he just holds the D while the bass goes, and then he comes back in with the, all right, so you would have this. But if you want to keep the timing and it sounds great to play it, after we do the D chord, we're just going to come up to the 5th string, 3, 4, 5. And then our D hammered on, or not hammered on, but D and the pull down on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. All right. So let's go from the F. Then everything starts again. We're going to skip that 4th fret. One more time. The 4th time we end on A and begin. Again, the solo is already started, but this is kind of like the chorus version of the solo rhythm. How about that? Because we're doing the same basic chords. All right, we're just changing it up. Brad changes it. He's going to hit the A, and then he's going to do a pull down on the 5th string at the 3rd fret to open. 3rd string, and then you'll hear the lick, back to an A. Now they skip, you'll hear it with the harmonica, but he doesn't hit the A or the open G again. He pauses and then hits it hammered on, so he'll have this, and then the lick. Alright, so let me take it from this 3rd measure of the 3rd verse, which again is into the rhythm of the solo. 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, we're going to take off on the 4th string. Alright? We're going to hit the open 5th string and move up the 4th string. With the lick at the 4th fret, it'll sound like this. We're going to leave that 5th string open, move up on the 4th string. 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, and 14. And we'll be hitting the open 5th string at the same time. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming out of the solo rhythm, after we hit 14, we're going to hit, because you hear an octave, all right? So rather than, he's playing, and I'm sure Brad's playing along, and they're just doing the 4th and 3rd string. rest is the same. Now, when we go into verse 4, we're going to do the pull-offs twice. All right, did one there, we'll do another. The very last verse 4, the very last part of that measure will be our weird verse, where we skip 4, hit 5 to the third string of the third fret of the 6th string. And then we hit this to take us into the bridge. We're kind of coming into the middle of the bridge at this point. Okay, so coming out of verse 4, we're into the next bridge. That bridge will be the second solo start until we hear a drum fill and then an A power chord and out. All right, they go out with a bunch of different sounds and so forth. But to take us out, let me take you from the end of the solo rhythm. We're going to go 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're kind of coming into that bridge already starting. We're coming in to the E chord and then to our D sharp and D. One more time through. Alright, so the third time, which considering our short and first, we'll do that B note. Then they'll do this 4 times before the drum fill. And then the A power chord takes us out of it. So again, in my notes, I showed you where solo 2 starts after the 4th time. We've done the B note. This is where the solo will start, right there. So the second solo starts about that point and ends when we do the A. And the rhythm going out of the A, you know, you're just playing notes. You hear doing volume swells. That kind of stuff, and you'll hear Brad, because he's playing a Les Paul, doing some Ace Frehley, I just call it that, on and off, and so forth, but it's just really an A power chord that takes us out of the song. Solo is in D Dorian. Alright, D Dorian basically has no sharps or flats. So we've got D, E, F, to G, A, to B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then D, E, F. Your D pentatonic will work fine here. And so forth up the scale. Again, if you just want to jam along, I'm going to show you the solo that Perry does. The first measure of the solo sounds like this. Alright, so what we're doing, we're starting out on the 10th fret, that D, and then we're going to hit the 12th fret of the 2nd string once, and then second time bent up. So he does that individually the first time through. The second and third time he does the same thing, but they're more together. Alright? The 4th time we'll grab 10, bend up 12, back to 10 on the first string. Alright, so we have this so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, we're going to pull off from 12 to 10 on the second string, and then go from 13, striking that, pulled off to 12, back to 10. Back to 12, pulled off to 10. So we have this. Then we're going to go third string, 12, bend up, catching 13 on the first string. And then we're going to hit 12 on the third string again with a bend, release, and pull off to 10. And then 12 pulled off to 10 again on the third string. So all together slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, what we're going to do is a pre-bend of 12 and hit it and then release it to 10, ending up on 12 on the 4th string. Then we come back to 10 on the 3rd string, 12 with a bend, release, and pull off to 10, 12 bend up, and then we're going to catch 13 on the second, then 1st string. So we have this all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to hit 12, bend up, released, and pulled off to 10. 12 to 10. Then we're going to go up to 14, bend that up, and catch 15 on the second to 1st string. Alright, so after let's go from the 12 bend to 13s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to grab 14 on that 3rd string with a release to 12. And then end on 13, 2nd string. Alright, so the first 2 measures of the solo together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when we end on that 13, we're going to start there again from 13, and then we're going to move to 16, bend and release, and pull off to 14. Okay, so we have this. Alright, and then we're going to hit 16, bend and release, bend and release, and then bend. Alright, then we're going to hit 14, hammered on to 15 and 17. And then we're going to hit 14 on the 3rd, that's on the 4th string. We're going to hit the 3rd string, 14, 16, pulled off back to 14. Then we're going to go up to 17 with a bend and release, and bend. So let's take it from the end where the last measure we hit 13, give it some vibrato, and then we'll start again from 13. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that is the first solo. Solo 2, remember we're following the bridge. Alright, we're going to start out sliding into the 4th string at 7. It'll sound like this. Alright, so basically on the 4th string, we're sliding into 7. Then we're going to hit 12 on the 4th string, back to 9. Then we'll slide back into 12. Alright, at that point, we're going to take off. on the 3rd string, 10, 12, then we'll hit 12 again, bend up, catching 13 on the 2nd. Then releasing 12 to 10 and 12, bend up again, 10 on the 1st string, 13, bend and released to 10 on the 2nd. Okay, so we have this so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go to the 12th fret of the 3rd string, bend and release, and hit 10. Then we're going to take 12 pulled off to 10 and hit 12 and 10 individually. Then we'll end up on 12 on the 4th string twice to 10 on the 1st string. That 10 is on the 3rd string. So altogether, the 2nd guitar solo starts out this way, the first measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. So after that, we're going to hit the 3rd string at 12 with a bend and release and hit 10, back to 12, back to 10. Then we'll bend 12 up again on that 3rd string, hitting 13 on the 2nd to 13 on the 1st, back to 10. So we have this. Then we jump back to that 3rd string with a bend and release on the 12th fret. Then we hit 10, ending up on 12 on the 4th string. We'll do that again. One more time. One more time. Then we're going to bend and release 12 to 10, back to 12 and 10, all on the 3rd string. And end on 12 on the 4th string. So that's the 2nd guitar solo. Again, it's not real difficult. It's just kind of pulling it out and playing along and getting the timing right. If you play the pentatonic scale and just jam on your own, which is what I would do, you'll be fine. So I hope that helps everybody. Again, the notes are below, so enjoy.